Got big goals for your marriage and family this year? That's great, but goals without habits are just wishes. Today we're sharing the practical building blocks that'll turn your dreams into reality. Let's dive in.
Welcome to Bringing Hope Home. We're Bryce and Colette Schaffer, and we're on a mission to bring God's hope, healing, and practical strategies right into your living room.
Hey, welcome back to Bringing Hope Home. And this week it's kind of a continuation of last week. So if you didn't hear us last week, you might want to go back and, listen in.
30 minutes wasn't enough on that one. It was a longer one.
Yeah, I love the
Awesome.
topics. It was about, building your goals together as a couple. So, it's really important to have your goals, this isn't a resolution. This is where you're really casting your vision as a family. And so each year it's important to do that. So go back and listen to that. But this week we want to kind of continue that. And what are the habits that we need to put into our life to achieve those goals? Mm-hmm. Right? Because we can have goals, but if we don't have the habits to back up those goals, then it doesn't happen. The habits is what drives it.
Yeah, wishing it comes to pass is not going to get it to come to pass.
Right. It's kind of like scrolling on Pinterest to be creative.
Sounds like you have, what is that, expertise, or you've done that?
Yeah. Well, you feel like you've been creative because you see all the creative stuff, but you're actually not creative. So sometimes setting goals feels like that. Like, oh yeah, I'm really getting something done because I have these goals. I'm looking at them. I'm stating this is what I want to do. But until we have, until we have the habits in place, they're probably going to just stay on paper.
Yeah, and again, as long as they stay on paper, that's where the devil wants them, is just right there, not in application. And again, when you and your spouse and you and your kids are on the same page and you're pulling in the same direction, that's when the quote-unquote magic happens. It really is. That's when things start to change. Mm-hmm. You start to see the growth. You start to see the, getting somewhere in whatever that goal is. And so what you're really trying to do at this point, after you've done that vision casting, after you've gotten on the same page, now you want to start putting those building blocks to get there and start building habits. And I did a sermon a couple weeks ago now, when this comes out, about habit building. It was the last one done in 2025. So I encourage you to go to our website or Facebook and find
TL New Hope Church.
Yep, tlnewhopechurch.com. And that'll kind of get you going. And again, it was generic, but there were just 3 parts to a habit building lifestyle that you need to put into effect. And so let's just talk about that a little bit. And it's kind of the power of rhythm, and it's getting things going. I'm a sports guy, so I like sports analogies, and I'll give you 2 quick ones, but they're the same thing. In basketball, when you're on offense and you're trying to get something done, if someone just goes ahead and stops the ball, they're a ball stopper is what we call them. If they stop the ball, and then they restart, whether it's a drive or whatever, they lose the rhythm of that play. And when you lose the rhythm of the play, things don't go as planned and they get messed up pretty easy. You can tell after you've been in basketball for a while, like I have, when rhythm is happening and when it's not. So that's our job as a coach, to help them figure out where rhythm is. Another one's a golf swing. When you have rhythm and not herky-jerky movements, your swing is a lot better and you can contact that ball on a more consistent basis. And that's what we want in your life, is to contact your visions and get them down the road a little bit better, more consistently.
And when we talk about a family, there's a lot of different pieces that go into rhythms.
Yeah.
The rhythm of your days, the rhythm of your spending, the rhythm of, everything kind of has a rhythm, and each person has their own part. You're thinking of analogies. I think of an orchestra or a band that each person has their, I'm a music teacher, you're a coach. Mm-hmm. But I think of an orchestra where everyone has their own part, but you're keeping the same rhythm. And everybody doing their part
That's a good family
makes
one.
a good, beautiful, orchestra together
it.
and family. So we're going to find those rhythms together.
Yeah, and the first part you got to really do is have the willpower, the fortitude to do so. Again, just putting it on paper or saying you're going to do it, say you're going to start tomorrow. That's one of the worst things you can do. I'm going to start Monday. You're going to start your diet tomorrow. Whatever it may be. The Bible doesn't talk about that. Now is when faith happens. Start now. Start this moment. You guys have just come together as a couple. You've decided on some dreams and goals and aspirations, and you put them into organized planning to get them done into sections. Start today. I don't care if it's tonight already. You're sitting here at 9 o'clock at night. Well, maybe then you're going to start tomorrow morning. But find that now in that willpower that it's okay to start today, right? Give your permission to start today, and don't make excuses to put it off for tomorrow.
We build habits. We have the willpower for the small things, to build habits. And the habits, once you get that established, those will take over, and it becomes just a part of your rhythm. It becomes easy.
Right.
So that's why it's so important to use your willpower to get into the practice of those little habits. If we just say, yes, I want to go work out and lose weight. I want to go, well, what are the habits that I need to do to work out? Well, I put my workout clothes right there in the morning. So that's the first thing I do is put on my workout clothes before I can even think, before I'm even awake. That's the number one thing. It's just become a habit. I put them on. And so that's just a little habit that, okay, I'm already ready to go. I don't even have to think about going, because it's just a part of my morning routine. That's what I'm going to do.
Right.
So,
I think you just have to have that. Again, habits are building momentum. Momentum is building rhythm. And habits you don't have to think about as much. And again, it takes, they say, 21 days to build a habit. So you have to consistently willpower yourself to do it for 21 days. I see it a lot like going to church. Well, we're going to go to church in the new year, and they'll come for a month or two, and then, a traveling team comes up, or you get sick for a couple weeks, or, you go on vacation, and then you're out of the habit, and then you have to rebuild it. So you can quickly fall out of a habit rather than building a habit. And I wish it was the other way around. It was quick to get into a habit and hard to get out of it. But it's really our flesh goes the other way.
Well, and that's what we have to look at, right? Is the negative habits that we've already built in. And sometimes those have to be destroyed. We have to kind of sit back and go, okay, what are the negative habits that we have been doing? Have we been just spending whenever? Have we been, whatever that is, have we just been lazy and sleeping in on Sunday mornings? Have we been, whatever the habits are.
Let God talk to you on those.
Yeah, God talk to you and those things that you need to.
And I think when you do that, you don't have to get too overwhelmed. You might see a whole bunch of issues or things that you have to work on or need to change to get to your goals. Pick one or two. Keep it small. Keep it simple. And when you do that, it again builds momentum for you. And again, it's about you and your wife communicating and holding each other accountable. We talked about it last podcast. Have a mentor. Give somebody permission to hold you accountable a little bit. But make sure you're doing those small things, those little things, and that we're doing it together is key. So you do that, and it's connecting points. Are you going to connect every Sunday night with your spouse? Are you going to communicate with them via whatever on a Wednesday? I don't know your guys' schedules, but you do, and find time to communicate, find time to connect, and then talk those things through. You know, that we live in the middle of nowhere, so there's a lot of times we're going an hour to shopping or more. And we use those times a lot of time to reconnect. And they're impromptu. Or the dinner table is a great place to reconnect.
Right.
And it's just little touch points.
Right. So we're going to bring up just like 4 categories here that are practical habits to build a strong marriage. Okay, so we're talking about marriage here and family. So here's some 4 categories to talk together with that are going to be just kind of those real building blocks, right, for your marriage. The first category is connection habits.
Yeah, how are you going to connect? Like I was just talking
Yep,
about.
you were just talking about that. How do you connect on and again, we're talking about rhythms of your life. Is it in the morning? You know, daily. Where are you connecting? Where are you disengaging from technology or whatever and really connecting? And sometimes you have to look week by week because our schedules get so packed, and schedule it in when you're going to connect, right? So here's some just ideas that you can put into habits for connecting. And this first one I did last year, I think in January, and then you got sick, and so then we stopped doing it. But it was a daily 6-second kiss.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like that much, but usually you're used to, you know,
Or a
okay,
hug
see ya,
or something.
and a little peck. But if you do a 6 seconds,
It's a long time.
it's a little longer. You kind of have to linger, and it allows a little bit of connection there,
Yeah.
right? And so that's just a little habit. A next one is turn towards your spouse when they're talking.
Oh,
Yeah.
look at them.
Look at them.
Oh,
You know, it's easy to be again on your phone and they say something, I'm guilty of this, and he's talking and I'm like, and I have no idea what he just said. Right?
that's
So
it right there.
I know.
Okay.
So turn towards them. It
Yep.
just builds
And
connection.
and then the tech-free. You know, you were just talking about your phone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, take technology out of the mix.
Yeah.
And texting sometimes is not the best way to communicate. I'm just going to say it. Because texting, you can't sometimes see the intent or the tone or your style. You need to see their face.
Yeah.
So,
Other habits are daily check-ins. You know,
Yeah.
that seems kind of
and with your kids, check
Foundational.
in with them. You know, you don't just say, how was your day? We need to say, what was your high point? What was your low point? Something along those lines. Not just, how was your day? Fine. Same as every other day.
Yep.
Give them more leading questions than that. You know, and you can Google those real easy too. Are some leading questions for your teenagers
Yeah.
or
there
your
you go.
spouse or whatever.
There you go. Okay, so those are just some connection
Yep.
habits that we needed, just little tweaks, right? To connect more,
Help build your rhythm.
right? The next one is communication habits. So if your communication, if you and your spouse end up, you know, frustrated, if you're frustrated a lot with your communication, we need to put some little habits here and there. One habit is to start softly. If you're talking to each other, sit back and what is my tone? Are you approaching the conversation, you know, more aggressive, like because you're already upset? You know, so just check your tone and start soft. There's a statistic that says 96% of conversations end the way they begin.
Oh,
So
That's
if you
good.
start one out that says, you never, or you always, they're probably not going to end very well either.
probably not.
So watch how you start softly. So there's one. Another one is the 5-1 ratio. And so you talk about this with the love bank.
Yep.
And this is a good one for communication. So go ahead and
Yeah,
take
well,
the
a
love
5-to-1 ratio is real simply, you need 5 positive comments to 1 negative. Or I like to talk about a love bank, and you put deposits and withdrawals in your life all the time. just like your bank account. It takes out the electric bill, the water bill, your Starbucks bill, all these different things. But then you also have your job that then puts a deposit in there. You need to deposit more than you take out. And the interesting thing is you and your spouse have different values, and sometimes you don't even know it. So again, that little 6-second kiss might be a really big deal to one of you and nothing to the other. So the value of that is little to nothing and a lot. But if it's a lot to one, it needs to be a lot to you. And so you just learn the value of each other by communicating, figuring it out. But again, putting more positive than you do negative into your life. And again, I've had couples that weren't really used to that, and so they made a game out of it and made it a ha-ha thing, but they actually come back happier. They come back with more communication. So do that. Always assume the best, and that's a big one with your kids. Sometimes with your spouse, if you've been in a negative rhythm with them, but especially in your teenagers, you can see it. Assume the best, not the worst.
Well, again, if you start a conversation aggressively, or if you're always on the defense,
Yep.
Then you're really not giving your spouse a chance, right? Because you're always saying they're always wrong, or so you're always on the defensive. Whereas if you think the best about them,
Right.
then you're going to allow that.
And where could you be seeing things wrong? You might not see it correctly, or you might not have the best perspective. So be trainable yourself. So to be in that mindset, if I might need to change in this, then don't come at it so aggressively,
Right.
for sure. The next category that we want to, just quickly touch on, and this is getting to be a longer podcast too, but is those spiritual habits. We talked about them last time, just the church side of things and those, but, an attitude of thanksgiving. Right there is huge. Attitude of gratitude. Praying together every day is a good one. Going to church, we talked about that one extensively last week, for sure. Find a book together. That was another one. Or a devotional. I mean, the big ones that used to be real small and easy are our daily breads. Those are really quick, simple. We even have some devotionals for you if you would like some of ours, for sure. So, but just that attitude of gratitude, the attitude of God first, and letting God give you a perspective rather than your perspective would be key.
Even the habit of praying first before reacting. Both of you are praying.
Like that, we learned to count to 10.
Yeah, you learn to count to 10. Learn to go into your corners and pray first, and then talk. So the fourth habit is kindness or service habits. We've had that kindness challenge, and we can post that again down in the comments. That's a good one. Small acts of kindness. It's good to just challenge yourself to be service-minded towards each other. Again, speaking words of affirmation, just being kind with your words. Watch the words that come out of your mouth.
Yeah.
And again, that fills up their bank with those kind words, physical touch. Those are all things that are going to bless your spouse.
Right.
Right. So we're going to talk quickly about how to make these new habits stick.
That's probably the key, right? Is we know we have to get those. We have a vision, and now we need to get them cemented into our lives. So we need to do that. And so first of all, you just have to start. Again, don't put off tomorrow what you can do today. One of my favorite sayings that I've always given our kids, don't put off tomorrow what you can do today. And so start small. Start doing it this minute is key, And then another thing you could do is track it. Track doing the good things or the positive things or your goal settings or the time together. Give yourself some stars. Remember when they were in first grade and you got a star on the board and you had all these stars across the line and, those kind of things. And don't get upset that we haven't put a star on the old tracking device lately, but say we need to put one on there kind of deal. Again, positive, turn it around a little bit for sure. I think, again, have some environmental clues. You were just talking about putting your workout clothes down, ready to be, that's right there. So that's a cue for you. Going to bed early. Maybe, I know your phone, you have put a reminder of a good night.
It's time for bed.
It's time for bed, little alarm kind of deal. I don't know if it's an alarm. I don't know how you did it, but it's there every night, and it's like, we're behind.
I need to be asleep now.
Yeah, I need to be asleep. Or, so those are kind of a fun little, it's a nice, gentle something. So get some environmental cues, put some stuff on your mirror, whatever it may be.
Right.
And then, you're going to have obstacles to all this, so
Progress over perfection.
Ooh, say that again.
Progress over perfection. So we're not aiming to have everything all put together. None of us do. We are human, and give yourself grace to miss it, to have bad days. We all have bad days. We all have days where it's just kind of off. So know that that's coming. And so we're not going for perfection,
Right. Right. And then
we're going for progress.
Progress, and then evaluate. If something didn't go right, why, and change it for next time is just key. And say, okay, we can change this. We can adapt to this.
Or if something doesn't fit for you guys, in your personality. Yeah, we tried doing this and it just felt,
went flat.
Didn't. Okay, how can you tweak it so it works for you, right?
Yeah, and that's key. So, but again, as we wrap this up today for you and this creating a rhythm, again, start small. Pick one or two new habits. If you need to just start with, we're going to have a bedtime routine in our household. Great. Let's start there. Let's not have a fight. So, and here's how to do it. In a family, you do it together. A lot of times, kids, it's time for you to go to bed. Well, if there's a fight happening there a little bit with the kids and tension, why don't you turn off the TV as well? You can, the neat thing about pausing now that we didn't have it when we were kids, those kind of things, but do it together is key. So, but you pick a habit, you start, you do it together, and you're going to find that it becomes enjoyable, and then stick to it. There's a consistency. Kids are going to press the boundaries. Your flesh is going to press the boundaries of it after a while, and see if you're serious. And so make sure you stay with it. Have that conversation with your kids. We want to have a better start to our days, so we're going to have a better ending to our evenings. We're not going to do X, Y, and Z anymore. We're going to change these habits. So do it that way. Get ready to just knock it out of the park with that. It's just key to find yourself in all of this and be excited about growth again.
Yeah. We all need to be in a growth mindset, in a growth. The minute you settle is the minute you start going backwards. We all need to, no matter if you've been married 30 plus years like us, or if you're just starting out, we all need to be on the growth. There's always something that we can be working on and developing in our lives. And the goal is just to enjoy life together.
Right. Yeah, you don't have to have everything or do everything now.
Yeah. So
it's more about, are you doing it together, and are you doing something? Are you progressing at something?
And the main part, is just to looking at your life. What is working? What isn't? And find what isn't working and put new things in there.
Yep. Replace them, and then talk to God. Let God help you with this, because guess what? He knows you better than you know you. That's and right. Where you need to be. So ask him about it as well, and he will talk to you. I guarantee it. So
All right. Well, thanks for hanging with us. And if you have some ideas too on habits, let us know. And of course, that we always have our marriage builders you can look into and all of the resources. Make sure you go to schaefferministries.com and you can see all of that. So until next time, bring hope home to your life today.
Thanks for listening to Bringing Hope Home. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you want to strengthen your marriage, head to schaefferministries.com to take our free marriage quiz and check out our Marriage Builders course. See you next time.